Hello, this is going to be a quick demonstration of how I did voice training. This is about my resting voice. This is what I sound like on the average day. Most of the time I get gendered as female. It's actually been quite a while since anyone has mistaken me for a man in public from a stranger. So I think that my voice is pretty good if you're trying to pass. And here's how I got it. So one of the first things that I needed to learn about voice training was how to control my larynx. You want to raise your larynx a little bit higher to talk in this higher register. So if I talk more down here, my larynx is kind of like relaxed. It's like drooped down almost in my throat. And I don't have a very pronounced Adam's apple, so this might not be very easy to see, but if you pay attention to my throat, you can kind of see my larynx. Pay attention to how it moves when I swallow. You see how it kind of moves up when I swallow? That's the effect that you are trying to achieve through this voice training. An easy way to do it, there's a few different ways to try and gain control over your larynx. One is to sort of like swallow and kind of like try and hold that sort of back half of the swallow where your larynx stays raised. Personally, I find it difficult to breathe while doing this, so this might not work well for everybody, but just to show you what it looks like when I do that, again, let's pay attention to the shape of my larynx. Yeah, so it's not very comfortable. I can't really breathe during it. I never quite figured out how to make this one work, but it does work for some people. And it is something I did a little bit to supplement my voice training. The much easier way that I found helpful to train my voice was to kind of almost do like a Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse sort of voice. So if you pay attention again to my larynx, if I talk like this, like it kind of like tightens a little bit and kind of like raises the tone a little bit. So yeah, this is sort of a Mickey Mouse voice, but you can see how high my larynx is when I talk in this voice compared to when I talk normally. Now, if you're thinking right now that Minnie Mouse voice sounds extremely embarrassing to do, I would be mortified if anybody ever heard me doing that voice. You feel the same way that I do. The thing is, when you're voice training, it's kind of like when you're trying to gain strength. If you're like working out, you don't just like want to only train to the point that you're comfortable at, because otherwise you're never really going to make progress. You're kind of trying to make yourself able to produce very high tone voices, and that'll make it much easier for you to, through some conscious effort, make your voice have a relatively comfortable higher pitch, but obviously not as high as the highest you go during voice training. You're trying to overcome your end goal. And this is going to result in you being comfortable at higher ranges slowly over time. You're unlikely to overshoot it doing it this way, because you will hear your own voice every day. If you suddenly wake up one day and think, oh my goodness, this voice is so much higher than I wanted it to be, that's actually not, that wouldn't happen very quickly, so you would see it coming, and it's kind of easy to reverse if that does happen. You can kind of just stop voice training for a while, just sort of like relax your voice a little bit as you're talking, and it will go down a little bit over time. But in the meantime, you do whatever method, if it's the swallowing or if it's the Mickey Mouse voice, try and get some control over your larynx. Whenever you're doing these exercises, pay attention to how your larynx is moving and kind of try to get a feel for how to control those muscles. When you can do that, then it'll be easier to modulate your voice with intentionality. At that point in your development, I would recommend doing one of a few different things in order to try and find the exact tone of voice that you're going for. One is to sing along to songs that are that have female singers and try and like match their tone. You can find whatever singer that you like specifically, for this one, but that's a good way to match their tone. This is also a good way to this is another like alternative to the Mickey Mouse voice. You can just kind of like sing at a much higher note than you would normally do. And then another method for finding your voice is to just sit down and record yourself talking in various ranges that you're comfortable at and listening to it back. And if there's something that's like not quite right about a certain range, that might be a sign that you haven't like brought your range into a place that you're comfortable with yet. So to summarize, either use swallowing or the Mickey Mouse voice to get yourself used to producing, or get yourself used to controlling the larynx. You can do both or one or the other. I would recommend at least some of the Mickey Mouse training, but you can work in both, and you can swap the balance between the two. Once you have a little bit more comfort with a higher range of voice, record yourself, sing along to songs that are similar to your goal voice, and just try and find that. Now, after a while, you will stop needing to even consciously think about the way you talk. I don't think about my voice on most days, and I continue to get gendered female. After you have developed the range that you're comfortable in speaking, if you just keep speaking in that range for long enough, that will become your default voice and you'll stop having to think about it consciously. That's pretty much how I did it. It took me maybe a year or two to go from my complete pre-voice training voice to just about what I have right now. And yeah, that's it. I hope you have a good day.